Every empire dies in 7 stages. Spain, Britain, the Soviet Union. Each reached stage 7, and none ever came back. The United States is already at stage 6. History doesn't predict the future. It warns it. And right now, America stands exactly where dying empires once stood. Rich, powerful, and blind to the slow rot beneath the marble. There is a rhythm to power. A heartbeat that rises and falls the same way every time. First comes glory, then greed. First comes unity, then arrogance. And then comes the silence before the fall. We like to believe our world is different. That technology, democracy, or innovation make us immune to history's gravity. But every empire has believed the same thing, right before the collapse began. This isn't about prophecy or politics. It's about math, debt ratios, trade balances, currency flows, human nature repeating itself with statistical precision. Because when you chart the rise and fall of civilizations, from Rome to Washington, you see the same curve, the same sequence, the same illusion of permanence that always ends the same way. And the most chilling truth of all is that we are watching the curve play out again, in real time. Historians once believed collapse was random, a product of war, or famine, or bad leadership. But the deeper you study history, the more you realize collapse follows a pattern, almost mathematical in its precision. Every empire, no matter how vast, how wealthy, or how moral it once seemed, dies in 7 stages. Stage 1, expansion and dominance, the birth of greatness. A nation discovers its purpose, its unity, its mission. It builds, it innovates, it expands. Its people believe in something larger than themselves. For Rome, it was order. For Britain, commerce. For America, freedom. The first stage is always built on vision and sacrifice. Stage 2, military overreach. The empire begins to see itself as indispensable. It extends its reach, not for defense, but for influence. Troops, bases, protectorates, the world becomes a chessboard. Power feels infinite, but every move comes with a cost. The cost of blood, of resources, of attention. And slowly, the empire begins to trade wisdom for dominance. Stage 3, currency debasement. Expansion is expensive. To sustain it, the empire manipulates its money. Gold becomes paper. Paper becomes promises. And promises become lies. At first, the illusion holds. Wealth seems endless, markets rise, and prosperity feels eternal. But underneath, the foundation weakens. History records this moment with chilling consistency. When empires start printing, collapse is already written. Stage 4, the debt spiral. The illusion demands maintenance. Debt replaces productivity. Consumption replaces creation. Borrowing replaces balance. And the numbers stop making sense. Governments borrow from the future to fund the present. Citizens live beyond their means, believing comfort is a right. Interest compounds. Deficits explode. And yet no one stops, because no one can. Stage 5, social decay. Once the economy begins to rot, the culture follows. Unity gives way to division. Virtue gives way to vanity. People no longer agree on what truth means, what morality means, what their nation even stands for. The empire that once conquered the world now struggles to govern itself. And the louder the arguments grow, the weaker the foundation becomes. Stage 6, the loss of trust. This is the quiet stage, the one that arrives before the headlines. Citizens lose faith in their leaders. Institutions decay. Allies turn away. And the world senses what the empire cannot admit, that the center can no longer hold. The currency begins to die, and confidence, the invisible glue that holds nations together, begins to disappear. Stage 7, systemic breakdown. This is the point of no return. Debt implodes, the currency collapses, social order fractures, and history closes the book on yet another empire that thought it was eternal. 7 stages. Every time. Different names, same story. The great historian Sir John Glubb called it the fate of empires. He noticed that the average lifespan of a great power, from rise to ruin, is about 250 years. Not because of enemies, but because of human nature. Prosperity breeds complacency. Complacency breeds decadence. and decadence breeds collapse. Every empire starts as an idea, but every empire ends as an enterprise. Spain ignored it. Britain rationalized it. The Soviet Union denied it. And America believes it can outsmart it. But history doesn't negotiate. It only repeats. To see the future, we only need to remember the past. Because the United States today looks hauntingly familiar, a reflection of three empires that once ruled the world, and all fell the same way. In 1590, Spain was the richest empire on earth. Gold and silver flowed in from the New World. Its ships ruled the seas. Its currency was trusted everywhere. But the silver made them lazy. They stopped building and started buying. They stopped innovating and started importing. Inflation soared. Debt exploded. By the 1600s, Spain had defaulted 4 times in 1 century. When the silver lost value, so did Spain's power. The richest empire on earth became bankrupt and irrelevant. Stage 7. Systemic breakdown. Then came Britain, the empire on which the sun never set. By 1914, it ruled a quarter of the planet. The pound was the global currency. London was the heart of the world's finance. Then came war. Twice. 2 world wars drained the treasury and shattered confidence. By 1945, Britain's debts exceeded its GDP. Its colonies rebelled, its gold reserves vanished, and the dollar replaced the pound. The empire didn't fall by invasion, it fell by exhaustion. Stage 7 again. Then came the Soviet Union, the empire of ideology. After 1945, it seemed unstoppable. It had nukes, vast land, and global influence. But its system was hollow. Corruption replaced competence. Debt replaced productivity. Faith in the system evaporated. By 1991, it collapsed, without a war. No enemy defeated it. It simply imploded from within. Stage 7. Systemic breakdown. 3 empires. 3 endings. And now, the same sequence unfolds in the United States. Expansion, overreach, currency debasement, debt spiral, social decay, loss of trust. The last stage, collapse, is next. Every empire reaches the moment when the mirror cracks. The United States is there now. Stage 6, the loss of trust. It doesn't arrive with riots. It arrives quietly. When citizens stop believing. When allies stop trusting. When the world begins to prepare for a future without you. America has already passed the first 5 stages. Post-World War II dominance. Endless wars. Abandoned gold in 1971. $36 trillion in debt. And a society fractured by division, addiction, and despair. Now comes the quiet collapse. The slow death of confidence. Citizens don't trust their leaders. Leaders don't trust their citizens. The world no longer trusts the dollar. Central banks buy gold again. Nations trade in other currencies. And allies look elsewhere for protection. This is what Stage 6 looks like. The calm before the storm. It's not chaos yet. It's exhaustion. And exhaustion always comes before collapse. Stage 7 is the moment the illusion breaks. It begins with silence. Then, the currency collapses. The debt market freezes. Social order fractures, politics turns into vengeance, and foreign powers quietly reorganize the world. Spain had silver. Britain had debt. The USSR had ideology. America has everything, all at once. Once trust dies, collapse is irreversible. You can print money, but you can't print faith. You can change leaders, but not human nature. When confidence dies, the empire dies with it. Stage 7 is not about war. It's about entropy. A system consuming itself. A civilization devouring its own foundation. It's the quiet collapse that turns nations into memories. Every empire imagines it can rebuild, but no empire ever does. Because Stage 7 doesn't destroy wealth. It destroys belief. And belief, once broken, never returns the same. Rome became ruins. Britain became a museum. The USSR became a memory. The United States may survive, but not as the power it once was. Empires don't die in fire. They die in disbelief. Civilization isn't built on money or armies. It's built on trust. And when trust disappears, no amount of power can restore it. The people stop believing. The system stops functioning. And what follows isn't recovery. It's resignation. You can rebuild structures, but not spirit. You can replace leaders, but not faith. That's why recovery never comes, because the empire collapses from within, and there's nothing left to stand on. History doesn't shout, it whispers. And the whisper is getting louder. Every empire believes it will be the exception, none ever are. The United States stands where Spain, Britain, and the USSR once stood, at the threshold of the final stage. Stage 6, the loss of trust, is already here. Stage 7, the breakdown, is next. It won't come with war. It will come with silence, a quiet recognition that the age has ended. History doesn't care about politics. It doesn't care about pride. It doesn't care about promises. It only cares about patterns. And the pattern says, when a nation hits stage 7, it never recovers. Not as the same power. Not with the same trust. Not under the same illusion. What follows isn't resurrection. It's reckoning. The United States is still shining, but the shine is borrowed light. The silence has begun. The trust has broken. The countdown has started. Stage 7 is not far. And when it comes, it won't say a word. It will simply whisper, "You were warned." The United States is at stage 6. The clock is still ticking. The question is, how much time is left?